Hey everyone, Andrea Praver here with Great Expectations Realty, and it is Monday, which means it's time for What's Up Ocala. I know I probably look a little bit crazy and a little frazzled, but we just got back from the Realtors Convention, and that was over in Orlando. It's one of the best in the country. In fact, we hear that from a lot of realtors that are there from all over the country, and they were like, your convention is amazing. It's over in Orlando, so it's only about an hour away from Ocala. So of course, why wouldn't we go? My husband and I have been going to it for like 10 years now. We absolutely love all the connections, the expo, learning about different softwares and different programs, and it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, if you are serious about your career and working in your industry, of course you're going to go to the conventions and the expos and stuff that are in your career. So we go to the Realtor Convention each year, and it's just, we always take home something that's interesting, some nugget of information that's really helpful. And honestly, out of all of it, the last bit that I didn't even want to go to, the last, like the closing statements or whatever, there was this really cool thing the day before, which was Martha Stewart was talking, and she was a keynote speaker, and she was just amazing, so funny. But actually the closing statement was actually from the statistician for the Florida Realtors organization. And he was going over, it was kind of unfair to him because he was going over all these statistics, I mean, down to the minutia. And it was on the last day, and it was like the last hour of the last day. And I'm going to have to admit that there was a lot of us that left a little bit early, not because the information wasn't fantastic, but we needed to get on the shuttle to get to the parking. And, you know, it had been a really long week. So, so we didn't get to enjoy as much as we probably should have. But the information was provided, and it was incredible. He went over, you know, basically the difference between, you know, the bubble of 2008 and what we're seeing now. And it was just absolutely incredible information. He went over, you know, how many people are not up to date on their mortgage. And I was shocked because I was assuming there was going to be a lot of foreclosures and short sales and stuff like that. But that's just not the case. It's just not in there. So when you really look at those figures and those facts and see what the difference was between now and 2008, there's a huge whopping difference. 2008, and, you know, prior to that in 2006 and 2007, when we had this big bubble, we had a lot of people purchasing real estate, but at the same time, we had a lot of real estate. So it was, you know, there was already a lot of supply. So the demand really was a false demand, you know, for what it was. So that was a bubble. Now it's crazy because you're seeing the same numbers of homes being sold for that pricing and whatever. But the difference is there's very little supply. In fact, very little. Like it was like, so as the prices were going up, you can literally see he had this chart where the houses were going down. The supply was going down as more and more people were purchasing, and that was making the prices climb. And now, of course, we're seeing, because of those interest rates going up, you're seeing a difference, especially in the luxury market. That's really what got hit first and foremost. And of course, that's always the case. You know, when groceries go skyrocketing in price, the luxury items are the first to go. You're not going to not get bread, milk, and butter and eggs. You're going to maybe not get expensive chocolates or something like that. So it's just that little bit of difference, but it's honestly, it comes across every different market. And that was one of the things that we saw was the luxury market got hit immediately. Immediately it was hit. So just kind of interesting stuff. The median price, he actually was the first person that has ever gone over median price versus average price, which I thought was fantastic. So just to reiterate what he brought up, I was just so thrilled with how he explained it. Average price is when, you get an average, which is what I do most of the time. If you have, let's say, 3 houses for sale, you're going to put all 3 prices, sale prices, into the equation and split it by 3, divide by 3, and that's going to give you your average price. However, especially here in Ocala, we should be using median price. So let's say you've got those same 3 houses, you've got one that's up here who it might be like $1 million, farm. And then you've got, a mobile home that's on a 1/4 acre that's maybe from the 1960s. And then that average is going to be like somewhere in between. That's like a 3-2 cookie cutter house. So you go with that median, the middle ground. And normally, of course, there's like, a couple hundred houses up here and a couple hundred down here. And it's that middle ground, that median price is basically how he was explaining it. I was like, finally, somebody explains it properly. So it was just kind of interesting how he explained that. So yeah, we should be using median price. And I normally just go with average, which is not as accurate as it could be because, again, we have a lot of those really expensive farms that do kind of tend to throw off the numbers a little bit. So from now on, I promise I will be going by median price, okay? Anyway, yeah, he was going over the pricing and how it shifted. Of course, he was doing all of Florida, whereas, here in Ocala, we didn't quite have the same facts and figures as like Miami, for example. But he did also bring up quite a few things that happened by county. And it was kind of interesting how you can see like the job market and how it has affected, the unemployment rate and how that has affected the sales prices and how many houses have sold and stuff like that. So Ocala was definitely one of those. We have taken a dip. That's not a question. Everybody knows that. We've definitely taken a dip, but it's not as big a dip as in other areas. Some markets, it went to like 34% lower in sales. And I'm like, whew, that's rough. South Florida is getting hit hard. But actually you could see it. There's an acquaintance of mine that also has a YouTube channel down in South Florida, and you can definitely see he's just like, holy smokes, what just happened? But yeah, it's just kind of crazy, what's going on down in South Florida. We're really not seeing that as much up here, but we also don't have the crazy high prices that they have down there. We don't have beachfront property. We have a lot of jobs coming in, a lot of work coming in. And so we've steadily increased. Of course, the last couple of years, we had record high numbers, same as anybody else, because Florida got popular all of a sudden. But here in Ocala, we still haven't gotten that dip because we still have the same reasons that people were moving to Ocala before are the same reasons they're still here. We have a lot of job opportunities. We have a lot of growth in our city, in our county. We don't have astronomical house prices. As high as the real estate market got in Ocala and Florida and all of that, we really didn't see, $500,000 for a 3-2 house. We weren't seeing that kind of, that's Miami. It's very different. We still have plenty of land, a lot of land. So, a lot of new home construction is continuing on. It's not like they've stopped construction by any stretch of the imagination. We still need those houses. It's still really low supply right now. And that is definitely affecting the rental market. He did kind of touch on the rental market. Prior to that, they were talking about, short-term rentals and how a lot of cities and counties are cracking down. Of course, you guys know that I've been talking about like city of Denellen a lot. And they said that's going to continue. That's actually going to continue. And honestly, looking at what is being done in Denellen versus other cities and counties and stuff, it's actually not that bad. It definitely needs some tweaking because there's like, some of the stuff just doesn't even make sense. But I think some of them in Denellen are actually trying to find a happy middle ground. So I'm not going to go on to that because that'll just take up my whole time and I don't want to do that. But it was really interesting. I'm going to share some of the charts and graphs with you real quick. This is just today's market, the median price, the 1 year price growth. So you can see we definitely went up like 35%. Between 2020 and 2022. It did definitely go up for us, but it's not really come down a whole heck of a lot. We're not talking like 35% decrease, as you can see in some areas of Florida. That actually did happen, where you're actually seeing a 35% decrease in house price almost overnight. That was kind of crazy. So yeah, you can kind of see the local trends here, Ocala versus the rest of the United States. As much as a lot of people are going, oh, it's so expensive now in Ocala, it's so expensive. No, it's really not. The current median home price is down to $267,400, whereas throughout the United States, that home price is $365,767. So we are still way below the national average, the national median home price. So kind of interesting. And that even goes into 2022 and what the prices difference has. But go ahead and take a look at that. Gains in the last 3 years have extended the trend of positive price growth after the recession. We had a really long recession. That 2008 thing just, whew. I remember people calling me and asking, when are we coming out of the recession? And I was like, you're going to need to give it about 10 years. I remember having those conversations and they were like appalled on the phone. And back then I didn't know what I was doing, but the more I read and the more I listened to people that really were very smart, much smarter than me, that's really what they were saying. They were like, this is going to take, a good 10 years to recover. And it was almost to the day. It was kind of crazy. So I very much appreciate all of those that are much smarter than me going out and, explaining things so that I can understand. If it makes logical sense to me, I'm going to share it with you. So for everybody that's like, wow, that's some really great info. Yeah, it's all just looking at the statistics and everything that other people have put together, where I look at it, analyze it, and go, that makes sense. I can see where this is going. That does make sense. Okay, that I can share. If it doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to go with, I don't think so. So kind of interesting. Just some of the stuff that they were going over was really, really interesting stuff. Let's see, total equity accrued to owner by year and quarter of purchase. I want you to take a look at that real quick. Really interesting information here, I think. Especially from 2008 down to 2021 and 2022 going into that. So just that appreciation, it did go down quite a bit. So kind of interesting, over the course of time. Drivers of local supply and demand, job change. That is basically what's going on, especially in Ocala. Those jobs coming in. Now you got to think, I've got a video coming up with Kevin Sheely. It should be next week, I think, and I absolutely love, Kevin Sheely is the CEO of the CEP, which is the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Partnership. And it's just, he's fantastic as far as what he does. His job description is to bring jobs into Ocala and to increase the economics of our town. He is phenomenally good at his job. I mean, just absolutely amazing. Very modest man. I love talking to him. I love sharing his information on here. But he has helped, him and his team, they have brought in so many jobs into Ocala, way more than what is the national job growth. We've got just right now, millions upon millions of square feet being built currently in distribution centers and warehouses and stuff like that, that, it's not even, that's not even happening right this second. So like it's currently being built. This is not, employees that are currently working. They're going to be working. So we're going to continue to see that that unemployment go way down. I mean, we have so many jobs available. In fact, for 2020, which was, of course, when everything changed, right? But in 2020, we actually had job growth. During the pandemic, we had job growth here in Ocala, and it's just continued from there. So it's just very, very different. And you can kind of see that share of total employment by industry. You're going to see a lot of the, let's see, the trade and transportation, utilities and stuff like that. So the national average is 14%. We're up at 25%. And again, that's continuing to grow. So obviously Ocala is becoming a major distribution hub. And as Kevin Sheely will point out and go into detail, which I'm not going to do, a lot of that is coming from like Atlanta. To have, it's much better for them to have a hub here in Florida now that our population has grown to a point where we actually need a distribution hub here in Florida, whereas it used to be in Georgia. Now they're doing it here. And it's doing nothing but help the local economy. And that's just going to continue for quite a few years because, again, it does take some time for those distribution centers to be built. I think the, which one is it? The Dollar Tree Distribution Center. It's a 14-story building. It's still in construction. You can kind of see the cranes off in the distance working on this 14-story building. It's one of the tallest buildings in Marion County. So kind of interesting, all of what they are doing and what is going on here, and how that has really shifted things. We definitely need more multifamily residences. We are having plenty of new home construction, as you can tell. If you look at the 12-month sum of local housing permits and how it just kind of went crazy, and just, thousands of houses being built locally. And that's still continuing. What was interesting to me, again, is that state foreclosure rate and the U.S. average. I really did think that we were going to have quite a few foreclosures because of COVID. That is just not the case. That is just not the case. So I had to change my mindset. You know how they always say, prepare for the worst, or, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Okay, that's me all the time. So, as I'm looking at the changes and everything that's happened within the last couple of years, of course, I want to hope for the best for our town, but also, I want to prepare for the worst. And, I was preparing for, foreclosures and short sales and stuff like that. I've done it before. I can do it again. No problem. We got this. But it's just really not going to be a thing. Looking at all the numbers of where we are and the trends, it just doesn't seem like at this point that's something that I'm going to be focusing on. So basically, from what I can see, it's basically gone back to a more stable market, which is what everybody was hoping for. There's more give and take with the buyers and sellers. Buyers actually have a shot at putting in an offer for a house and it getting accepted. Whereas before it was just such a seller's tough market that so many of our buyers, even though they were ready, willing, and able, they just were getting turned down right and left. So now it's much more stable. There's more negotiation between the two parties. It's a lot more equaled out. I'd have to say right now, it's hard for me to even say whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, because it is kind of, I think it's just equal right now. So of course you have highs and you have lows, but sometimes you just have that nice in the middle. So we'll see what happens with that. Basically there's a lot of information on the affordability, the long-term trend, the mortgaging costs and so forth. There's a lot of mortgage companies that are offering some really amazing deals right now. And also for, construction, new construction, there's a lot of deals going on. So I would jump on that bandwagon. I don't know about you, but if they're offering some great buy downs or paybacks or whatever, go for it. Absolutely go for it. If they're going to, maybe pay down your percentage so you're not going to have quite as much of an interest rate. Yeah, absolutely. So that maybe there's a way that you can get around having that, 5 or 6% interest rate payment. So there are some things you can do, and there are some companies that are, trying to help you out. You could also maybe put it in your offer. I mean, it would make more sense to have you buy down points on your mortgage and have a lower mortgage payment, even though the amount of money that you paid for the house is a little higher. So it's just really kind of interesting, the different options that we have right now. I think looking at some of this, you want to take a look and see what you think. I do want to go ahead and talk about the market here locally. And I think you will agree with me that it's some interesting information. It's very similar to last week's numbers. So we're going to talk about the local market here in Ocala. New listings, we had 264 in the last 7 days. Again, these are residential only. I'm not talking about commercial. I'm not talking about vacant land. I'm not talking about rentals, okay? Residential. So in Marion County only, in the last 7 days, we had 264 new listings. So more houses are hitting the market than they have in the past. It's pretty close. We were seeing like 220, 230, right around 200, stuff like that. But now we're seeing 264. So we are seeing some more houses hit the market. Price increases, 38. They seemed a little confused. So we had 38 price increases, 336 price decreases, y'all. So again, very similar numbers to last week. 336. Wow. 336 houses were coming down in price. Excuse me. That is some craziness. So almost 100 more properties were reducing their price and then actually hit the market in the same amount of time. That's some craziness. Back on the market, we had 64. So we are still seeing that trend of a lot of buyers are walking away for whatever reason. They are, and the house is coming back up on the market. Sold, we had 204. So things are still closing. Things are still being sold. Maybe not quite as many as last week, but that's okay. We are definitely still seeing that. Pending, 245. So again, we have quite a few contracts that are being written, and both the buyer and the seller are agreeing to them, and they're going under contract. That's a pending contract. So there's still some things that need to be done, like the appraisal or the home inspection or a survey or all of those. So they're not sold yet. They're pending. They're pending a sale. All right. Temporarily off the market, we had 23. So there's 23 properties that either for personal reasons or because the house needed some work, they were taken off the market. Withdrawn, we had 5, and canceled 32. We had 32 different people say, you know what? I don't need to do this right now. I'm going to go ahead and just stay put. Or maybe they were going to do something else or hire somebody else or whatever. And so that's what they're doing. All right, so hopefully if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise in regards to any of that information that I just poured onto you, I was trying to keep it as concise as possible, but it's a lot of information to go over. So if you guys have any questions, please, please, please let me know. I am full of data right now. My head is just swimming with data right now because of the Realtor Convention and everything that, it was like asking for a drink of water and somebody turned on an entire fire hose and then just, whoa. So I'm still kind of coming out of it, and it's a Monday. And this morning I came in, I was gone all last week. I came in this morning and there was no coffee and no coffee creamer. Everybody was kind of walking around like, what just happened? Like, that doesn't happen at our office. I was like, oh my goodness. So that has been resolved. That has all been rectified. It is safe to come by now. But yeah, it was, it was a little bit crazy this morning. I was like, what just happened? Andrea, is this your office or what? You know, because yeah. Somebody dropped the ball. Probably me. I don't know. But yeah, it was no coffee creamer, and we were all just kind of zombies for a hot minute. But again, it's been resolved. Catastrophe has been averted. We now have caffeine. It's okay. We have a lot of stuff coming up in September. September is the month that everything starts happening again. That's when we're like, okay, the hot days of summer has passed, and now this is where we've gotten up, and now we're going to slowly start to see those temperatures decline, which means everybody gets outdoors. They start doing all of their Florida fun stuff. So the last 60 days, we basically have all been sitting in the air conditioning or sitting in the pool kind of going, okay, now what? It's hot. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody wanted to go anywhere. It was just uncomfortable. And that's now we're going into the burr months. Those are my favorite months. So we got September, October, November, December. Those are the months I live for. I love Florida for. So that's what we're going into right now. And that means we've got the first Friday art walk. Whew. It's the first Friday art walk coming up. And that is the first Friday of every month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can go downtown Ocala and you can walk around and watch artists that are actually like painting right there, or that have a bunch of their artwork displayed, and you can purchase it right there or talk to them. There is actual art that goes on at the event. There is music, live music kind of all over the place. The restaurants and the stores and stuff stay open later. So, I mean, it's like a big party downtown. It is awesome. It is child friendly. It's, it's a perfect date night opportunity, but if you want to just, bring the whole family and walk around for it, that's awesome too. Downtown. Now keep in mind, we do have free parking in the parking garage, but on first Friday art walk, that parking garage gets full real quick. That's why they're building another parking garage for downtown, is because we have filled that. So it's like, what did we do before we had this garage? But yeah, so it is free parking. Get there early though if you want to park in the parking garage, which we normally do. So yeah, really great. All right, the Appleton Museum on the first Saturday of the month, so it'll be the 3rd this month. That is free. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Totally free. Just walk right in like you own the place. It's really cool. So normally they have a lot of different classes and stuff that you can do, some different activities and stuff. So, check into that. You can check it out at appletonmuseum.org. But yeah, it's totally free. If you're wanting to check out the Appleton, the first Saturday of the month is a good time to do that. You also have junk in the trunk at Brown's Market, where everybody just pulls up in their car and they have their spot, and they just, whatever is in their trunk or in their car, they just kind of whip it right out, put it out on a table right there, and that's their spot. And so you can just walk by and, there's all these trucks and cars and stuff, and there's food trucks, and it's just a lot of fun. So that is from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Great way to spend a Saturday morning. Of course, you can go to the downtown square, the downtown market. That is every single Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's on the corner of 3rd Street and 3rd Avenue. And that has, music, vendors, it has fresh produce, it has art, it has just all sorts of stuff. It's pet friendly, it's kid friendly. They have a playground outside. It's a really great time. So feel free to go and see that. That's of course free as well. And they also have food trucks there. There's something called Scribble Scrab coming up. That's also on that Saturday, but it's at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's art, music, food, and drink. It's free. It's at 8th Avenue. So it's 1531 Northeast 8th Avenue. So if you go down and check that out, let me know. I don't know. The Ocala Shriners Rodeo over at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. That is on Saturday and Sunday. Hold on, did I get that right? Yeah, Friday and Saturday. Excuse me. I was like, it says 2nd and 3rd, and I'm like, which one's the 2nd? Which one's the 3rd? Anyway, so Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. You can get your tickets on Facebook. But this is actually the 40th annual Ocala Shriners Rodeo. So yeah, it's on Friday and Saturday. I gotta remember to read my own writing. Anyway, gates open at 5:30. Rodeo starts at 7:30, but they've got bull riding, barrel racing, saddle broncs, bareback, steer wrestling, team roping, and tie-down roping. Whew, should be a really fun time. Let's see. MCA, which is the Marion Cultural Alliance, presents Hispanic Heritage Art Exhibit. That is on Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And of course, that's downtown at the MCA, which is 23 Southwest Broadway Street. And that exhibit is going on until October 1st. So it's basically the entire month of September. But you can actually join them for their September opening reception. And basically it's going to be right before the first Friday art walk. Basically it's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So, you know, check out that and then go do the Friday art walk. It's a nice way to start it. So yeah, they are also doing yoga for kids, which is on Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. It's $15 per child. You can purchase your tickets at Eventbrite. Or visit mcaocala.org. But this is basically Monica, who is a VPK teacher, is going to be doing yoga kids classes. It's recommended from children from 3+. So yeah, should be really interesting. Kids are really flexible at 3. I'm like, they are just so bendy. Like, have you ever noticed that? Anyway, I don't know. They can get into, you know, child's pose really easily. Sorry. Well, my own joke. Anyway, let's see. There's the Labor Day 5K for everybody that feels like running for Labor Day. I don't know many of those people, but there is that's on the 5th of September. So if you feel like going out there and doing that, go for it. That will be on Labor Day, which is Monday. I will be camping that day, so that's why I'm not running. Okay, baby. Anyway, they're actually doing a ruck march. It's going to take place on Friday evening with an after party. They ask you to register by the 25th to guarantee you receive a t-shirt. The first 400 to cross the finish line will be guaranteed an awesome finisher's medal. That's a lot of people. 400 people. Whew. All right. And then finally on the 9th, so going into next week, from 7:30 to 8:45, we've got BATS night flights. So if you want to check out some interesting information, you can go to the Heritage Nature Conservation, which is 2005 Northeast 3rd Street, and you can experience bats flying out from the bat house as park rangers share interesting facts about the world of bats, and it's totally free. You would have to pay me to go and mess with bats, but some people are really interested, and I do believe it's interesting information to share, so I am sharing it. Hopefully you guys are getting out there, gearing up, and we're going to go and have some fun this weekend. Right? You're going to go and check out Ocala and everything it has to offer now that the weather is going to start slowly getting into the cooler months. And if you're not in Ocala yet, go and check out your own hometown. Check out and see what fun stuff there is to do and see and be a part of. All right? You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.